Fellas, you can go a long way with a smile. You can go a lot farther with a smile and a gun. Forget the NCR. Forget the Legion. We got bigger plans. A bigger score. Vegas ain't running like it should. So we're taking over. I'm helping the Omertas all the way to that big showdown at Hoover Dam. No mercy for suckers. No playing nice with the other families. Operation Racket. That's when we pull the trigger and take it all. Let's get down to business. We're gonna run this town. So, can you beat Fallout New Vegas as the Omertas? A tickle to the brain and a weird dream later, and the courier now believes to be Al Capone, the infamous Scarface. The stats I'm gonna go with are 9 in endurance and luck, 8 strength, 7 agility, 5 intelligence, and 1 in both perception and charisma. I tagged guns, speech, and unarmed as our main skills, and the traits that made the most sense to me were built to destroy and skilled. And regarding weapons and apparel, the rule is simple. If it's something that the Omertas have, use. Buy from local vendors or give to the courier, then I can use it. If not, I cannot. And thus my first move was to grab that pre-war hat in Doc Mitchell's house for the fit. Big Sal's got one too. The second was to sell stuff I won't need to chat, and to loot everything that's useful in Goodsprings. Magazines, the snow globe, the first clue Benny left behind, the special ops skill book, a weapon repair kit, the stealth boy, you name it, I got it. Luckily, I also found a Merc Grunt outfit, which Troiki, one of the Omerta's hires, also uses, so that's what I'll be wearing for now. And the first weapon of the run is gonna be a simple knife, since the other hire, Clandon, yields a stronger combat variant. The third move, Revenge. Can't be going round the Mojave planning to take over the strip while some fancy pants is yapping bedtime stories on the time he tucked me in 6 feet under. Ain't no rest for the wicked. You want me to sleep with the fishes? You're gonna wait until I'm tired. Now, allow me to freshen up your memory on the lore surrounding the Omerta, since that's what I'm shaping this run to. A nomadic tribe previously known as the Slitherkin. Their favorite pastime? To lure travelers to their camps. Let's just say that the rule of Kaiser's Legion seems kind in comparison. The Slitherkin had no concept of humanity towards those outside their little family. Until Mr. House recruited them, that is. Well, kinda. It's just that having your own casino in the most secure corner of the Mojave has its allure. Especially when it ticks all the boxes they were already fancying. Pride, greed, lust. Their only rule, the family comes first. Akin to Benny, the Omertas have been plotting to take over the strip. Except, unlike the chairman, they actually have a role during the second battle of Hoover Dam on the strip. Racket. A plan devised by Gomorrah's bosses and Kaiser's Legion commences. The NCR embassy gets blown to smithereens, and the Omertas, they inevitably get demolished by everyone else. Securitrons, the NCR, the chairman, and even the White Glove Society, even if they're also Legion allies. Operation Racket inevitably and canonically ends as a one-sided massacre. So, let's tinker the plan a little bit. First, we will no longer support Kaiser during the second battle of Hoover Dam. But the plan to take over the strip, that's still on the menu. Now, the thing is, Mr. House is plotting to get rid of Nero, the boss. And betrayal is unacceptable. So, the NCR isn't even to be considered. Not only would Colonel Moore also want Nero out of the picture, but it's in the name. Omerta, a code of silence. We will not cooperate with the NCR. For now, and until the detailed plan goes into motion, this is all you need to know. In Prim, a couple of escaped convicts tried to mug me. Me! So I did to them pretty much what they did to Courier 4, the poor bastard. I found me some of Ruby's casserole and went on into the Bison Steve Hotel, where level 2 comes around. I put points into guns and took the confirmed bachelor perk for the extra % damage against men. That one's a no-brainer. It's most of the enemies throughout their run. A steampunk spamming session later, and here's Deputy Beagle.
I don't suppose you came here to rescue me. I'd cross my fingers, but my hands are numb.
Nope.
I wonder what it's like to be able to get going whenever you like.
The holotape that the deputy had on him is our next clue. Benny's gone to Novak. And it's a great thing that centaurs are nothing but sad slugs, cause I got too close to Jackrabbit Springs. In hindsight, could have explored it. There's a free stealth boy in there. Nevertheless, the journey continued. Jacqueline wanted some star caps, but Thomas's will to live was stronger. Oliver's the luckiest man in the whole of the Mojave. And Vulpes looks like he scrolled into the weird side of TikTok. Anyways, and for the first time, I managed to completely avoid the ambush, the rat scorpions, and the grenade launcher dude. I passed through Wolfhorn Ranch and got to Camp Searchlight, where Aster tells me I better go to Novak. Unless I want a tan, the sort that'll give me a new haircut. No, I do not. So I saw a Legion member fighting mole rats, ran past the Vipers that were trying to shoot me, and finally reached Novak. Oh, and Victor is definitely not stalking me.
Seeing how this is the only road around, I'd be a sight more surprised if we didn't run into each other from time to time.
In the dinosaur, Cliff's running for his life instead of buying the junk I wanted to offload, cause the Vipers got too close to town. Manny recognizes the man with the scribe to him, but says he won't help me unless I help him. But hey, you know, roaring 20s and all, but there's a big difference between being respectful but ruthless and being Manny's employee. If he's got problems, I suggest he takes my cue and solves them himself. Sleight of hand gets me another clue, and before I went on my way to Boulder City, I intimidated Nobark, cause he's funny.
Please don't do no harm to me, mister. Leastways not my face. All I got left is my rugged good looks.
I respected his wishes, avoided yet another grenade launcher guy by not going near them. Genius move, I know. And got to Boulder City, where Lieutenant Monroe's got a situation with the people we're looking for. So I offered to help and jogged my way to Jessup.
What the hell? You're that courier Benny wasted back in Good Springs. You're supposed to be dead.
No, Jesse boy. I'm supposed to show you how I handle business. But first, this triggered level 3s and 4, so I put guns to 75. And the remaining points in speech, which I will not use in the Legate's camp. And take on the educated perk. Now, Jessup and his friend over here was a bit of a waking call. The knife's atrocious. But it's all I got that I can use. So, a lot, and I really mean a lot of slashing later, and steampacks, and we get Benny's lighter, Jessup's bandana, but most importantly, we now know that the man that shot us is in the new Vegas Strip. And Lieutenant Monroe's stalemate issue no longer applies, so I leave and let them sort it between themselves. I make the quick detour to Hoover Dam to grab the snow globe and made my way to Vegas. On the way, I sold some more junk I didn't need to the 188's arms merchant and to the Gunrunner's Vandertron. Then, in Freeside, I went to Mick and Ralph's and bought some dirty, pre-war business wear. The Omerta's most used outfits, and speaking of them,
things were better when the Omertas were buying, but we get by.
And that's when it hit me. If I can convince the Omertas to buy things from Mick and Ralph's, I can get my hands on a couple interesting goodies later on. This wasn't even in the plan, but it just makes sense. Cause even the rewards, the Pimp Boy 3 billion, oh, it screams this run. Oh, and for some reason he won't repair my pre-war hat. The one good thing about it is, even though it's broken, I can still wear it, so fashion souls. Next up, I want me more snow globes, so I start making my way to Nellis, get Abilene from Field Shack cause it's worth 500 caps. Took a nap and went on to make a bet with George, the boomer that's not part of the boomers. Now, Georgie over here doesn't think I can outrun a bombardment. With a 600 caps wager on the line, I nearly did a perfect run, but at the end, the dude hits me twice. The guard's still baffled we survived, and Raquel's been tasked with presenting any newcomer that makes it to the gates to their eldest, Mother Pearl. With the smile of a psychopath, she tells me I took my sweet time coming here, and that they've been waiting for 5 years for an outsider to come along and visit. Dude, there's a whole Brotherhood patrol near one of the buildings, but I digress. She tells me I can help or not, so I don't. That triggers level 5, so I kept on putting points into speech. Then I got their snow globe and went back to George, except... Why is the bombardment still going? Is George stupid? Victor? That's probably the encounter that should have happened in Boulder City, and never mind. George isn't the smartest cookie. Bro, well, extra caps. Next up, Jacobstown Snow Globe. But on the way, I'm completely surrounded by cazadores. Can't let them see me, otherwise I'll be past all my hopes and dreams. Did my best, but the ones to my left saw me. Damn it, I ran and nothing happened. They didn't chase me. I'll take it. And from here until Jacobstown, I only encountered a few giant mantises. Marcus then lets us in and I pay a visit to my favorite companion.
Jimmy! Little Jimmy! My, how you're grown up! So good of you to come visit your grandma.
Ah, Lily. Anyways, Snow Globe. Back to Freeside, and the petty thug thought he could ambush me. So, I taught him a lesson he will never remember. I went to the old Mormon fort for yet another snow globe.
Wanna get lucky? Head on down to the Atomic Wrangler.
Time to bankrupt all the local competition, and 5,000 chips later, I've been kicked out from the Atomic Wrangler stables. Seems casinos don't like it when you're winning. A lot. Old Ben warns me about the Securitron cap check. I got the caps, and Victor said,
Howdy, partner.
Hey, no one but Omertas are allowed to carry guns into Gomorrah.
Frankie, come on. I know I gotta earn my way in. Don't do me like that. Now, I thought about this. Should I win everything at Gomorrah, since that's the family's money? And I'm gonna have to say yeah. Operation Rocket 2.0 needs all the funding it can get, and we all know how the original's gonna go without me. Most importantly, and I didn't realize when I was debating to myself, or when I was planning this. Remember the rule that if the Omertas give me something means they have it, so I can use it? It's because of this. They are gonna throw a little something my way that'll make the plan oh so much easier. My smirk was immeasurable, and my day was made. First they gave me Brahmin steak. Then mantats, jet and wine, but before they kicked me out from the tables came the final gift. Combat armor, reinforced. And Billy's got jokes.
My cousin and his wife are a fastidious couple. She's fast and he's hideous, ha-cha-cha.
And I've got jokes too. Here's one that was recommended in the polls during the production of the video. A detective walks up to the owner of a restaurant with only one wall and asks him, is this place just a front? Let me know your best mob/mafia jokes in the comments. I'll try and throw in a couple that I've heard before throughout the video. Then I went to the tops. I made sure to avoid Benny for now, and since I'm on a roll, I wanted to get this bit done in one go. Up next, the Ultralux, and those two last casinos mean 10 and 15k extra caps to my wealth, respectively. I want what's coming to me. The world's mine, Chico, and everything in it. Then I got the snow globe from Vault 21's gift shop, and some Al Capone facts too. For example, he had syphilis. He died at 48 years of age. And even though that was the leading factor, he actually died by cardiac arrest. It's not what I expected either, but considering the lifestyle and the time frame, it is unsurprising, so yeah. Joanna! I did consider, quote-unquote, to not touch the merchandise, but it fit the fact too well, and I haven't joined them yet. Oh, and Carlito's gotta go. Planning to part Gomorrah from its more lucrative entertainer simply won't do. I don't know why his pork and beans and whiskey were bugged, but I could not loot them. That was weird. And next up, back to Victor, as it's time to see what the big man himself wanted from us to begin with. After all, I owe him my life.
You've been playing a high-stakes game ever since Victor dug you out of the ground. The business is this. One of my employees has stolen an item of extraordinary value from me, and I want it recovered.
Aligning my revenge with Mr. House's plans is gonna be quite lucrative, so I accepted the job. I also went to the cocktail lounge to get the last snow globe and sold them all to Jane for another 14,000 caps. Once outside, an NCR trooper tells me that Ambassador Crocker would love to meet me, so I told him to deliver a one-word response to the ambassador, Omerta. By the way, why did the mafia start a bakery? To make some dough. Anyways, back to the tops, and this time to Swank. I pass the speech checks, show him the clues, and he realizes the mess that Benny put the chairman in. So, he gives me back my weapons and asks me to investigate Benny's room where we find the key to his master plan. A whole Securitron that just can't say no. And that reminds me of a great Scarface quote. I always tell the truth, even when I lie. Back to Swank, and we devise a plan to get me my revenge. Finally.
What in the goddamn? Oh, Swank, you finky bastard.
He then said hello to my literal little friends. Level 6 came by, points to speech. And I took the toughness perk cause I'm not wearing that combat armor yet. Swank gets promoted to casino boss and Vulpes seems to have outgrown his questionable phase. And then tells me that Kaisar has extended an invitation. Baldi's gonna have to wait a bit though, cause right after I went to Mr. House, gave him the platinum chip, we're even. And that reminds me of another joke. I asked the mobster for a favor, but now I owe him a favor. Robbie then shows me the toys he likes to play with, and the Securitrons in the strip are now deadly machines. He then tasks me with infiltrating the Legion's fort, and level 7 means I finally got speech to 75. Putting the extra points into unarmed, even though I'm using melee. Yeah, I know. Let the pieces fall into the puzzle. You'll understand the bigger picture. Give it time. And it's only now in this stage of the main quest that we're finally able to begin the Omertas quest. The receptionist, she has been bribed by Benny before, so I throw that to her face to figure out what's really going on in the family. Apparently Caccino, the Omerta's lieutenant, has been involved in some shady businesses. The sort that the bosses wouldn't be too pleased about, so obviously I go and ask around, figure out where he is.
Caccino? Get out of my face.
As you would expect, no one tells me a thing, but by insisting, I get the man to come to me. And thus I tell him that I know about his little escapades.
Joanna, that bitch spreading lies about me. I've got a lesson to teach her about loose lips.
What he fails to realize is that the word got out, and not just about his situationship. I pickpocketed his journal from his inventory, so let's see. It documents months of activities and contains a detailed ledger of business deals that have been done behind the family's back. When confronted, he tries to appeal to our humanity. This book could get him killed. Then he has the audacity to offer me 100 caps. So, Caccino, you got a business in the Scythe that could cost your life, and that's worth 100 caps? I mean, I wouldn't help you either way, but yikes. Near the entrance to Zawara, their little private club inside the casino, I tell the thug guarding the entrance that I've got business with the higher-ups. That someone has been breaking family rules, and I have proof. Upon seeing that I'm not bluffing, he's pretty quick to direct me to Big Sol and let him know what's up.
Caccino, you dumb motherfucker. Yeah, we are going to have some words with Caccino. Meet me in my office.
Oh, I'm sorry, boss. Sometimes I just can't control myself. I don't know what's wrong with me. I swear I can turn this around. Just give me enough chance.
And then I proceed to get me some of Caccino all over me. What are they doing? And that second shot though. that was just wasting ammo. And I can mention to Big Sal that I know they have something big planned, but he doesn't really open up with details. And that little something, Operation Racket. But with Cachino gone, they need someone to take care of a couple things. And like Big Sal said, they think that I am resourceful, so congratulations me, we just got hired. He tells me that both Troiki and Clandon need help before they're ready to do their part. So, I inquire about the plan again.
The plan is called Racket, but that's all the info you're going to get out of me right now.
I also tried to find out why they stopped buying weapons from Mick and Ralph, but until I earned their trust, by completing this, he's not interested in discussing it. So, first off, Troiki. He's missing a shipment cause Fiend stole it. Lastly, Clandon. He works with explosives. And since you can't expect explosives to do all the work, he needs chlorine. Plus, who doesn't love an old world bioweapon in a post-nuclear wasteland? So I head on over to the Ultralux cause apparently the White Glove Society have chlorine because of their pool. But the door is locked. And I don't have a lockpicking magazine, which I need, unless I find a key. Chauncey then makes his way to me, but he doesn't have a key either. He just likes to stare at that specific door. I sold some more stuff to the gun runners, went back to Mick and Ralph's, where Ralph is such a responsible businessman that he will not allow me to buy chlorine. He would, if I had 60 science, but I don't. Great. So I'll try to find a magazine later. In Fiend territory, spamming Stimpaks was not enough because my suit has pretty much no damage thresholds. And the knife is god-awful. But as I'm staring at the Fiends, I remember who else is a chem Fiend. Tony fucking Montana. Though yeah, I don't know if Al Capone ever did drugs, but we can both agree it's likely. Without me having to resort to saying that during the Prohibition, alcohol was more than likely not considered just forbidden water, but a drug in itself. Anyways, I had me a cocktail of bad decisions, and thanks to Medics and Psycho, paired with nearly depleting all my Stimpaks, of course. But I won the fight, looted the Fiends, repoed the stolen shipment, and sold my knife. Cause in their loot, I found brass knuckles, which both Nero and Big Sal use, and a 44 Magnum, which both Cachino and Clandon use. Then I make my way to Westside and to the Casa Madrid apartments. You see, there is a loose end over here, but equally important, as I came to find out, there's also a locksmithing magazine. I did have to grab it to steal it out of sight, but I got it nevertheless. But upstairs, we find Sweetie, and by talking to her, we find something oh so interesting.
I got my start at the Gomorrah. Good money, but I saw how those Omertas hook girls on free jet or MedX, then start charging.
She used to work for the family. She brags that she could work in any of the strip's casinos, and she wants 300 cabs for not even a cutscene. My wallet says no, but Al Capone's STD say yeah. And then I killed her for deserting Gomorrah. Back to the Ultralux, and Chauncey won't stop staring at me at the door that I need to lockpick, so I punched him for fun. And oh, you should have heard my laugh when I realized no one in the whole casino cared. Oh, and he just ran away. I cannot believe this worked. I was about to reload and attempt to sneak kill, man. A magazine later, and I got the chlorine. Went back to Clandon, to Troiki, and finally to Big Sal.
I heard you did some good work for us.
We're now shunned by the strip, but who cares? And by using Speech 50, I can convince Big Sal to start buying guns from Mick and Ralph. He accepts. And this means that I too can buy weapons from Mick and Ralph. Now pay attention to Mick.
I wish I'd never gotten involved with the Omertas. All of this bloodshed.
Good news, buddy. The Omertas want to buy your weapons again.
Outstanding. You have no idea how much this means to me. But I think this little beauty will give you an idea.
And our reward, the Pimp Boy 3 billion, a golden Pip-Boy skin. And by passing a 30 speech skill check, he's got some exclusive weapons he's now willing to sell us. Now, remember the points into guns? That's cause the plan was for me to go to Little Devil, but I had no ammo for it. And I could buy some, but something caught my eye. You see, Al Capone hated the nickname Scarface, so what if I go around making scars on people's faces using the one and only Embrace of the Mantis King. It's not just ironic, I won't have to worry about ammo. And since I had plenty of money to spare and a scar on my face that I hate, I went to the New Vegas Medical Clinic, where I got every single implant except the perception and charisma ones. Oh, by the way, did you know that the Mafia has its own online payment app? It's the, Pay Up Pal. Badunts. And with around 6,000 caps left, I bought all the stimpaks that I could. Now, there's something else regarding Operation Racket that we can help set into motion. This time, on the Legion side of the plans. Frumentarius Picus, one of Vulpes' boys, has been tasked with destroying the NCR's monorail. You probably remember him by another name, since this Legion spy has been going by Captain Ronald Curtis. And for this one to start, we gotta go to Colonel James Shue. And this would go a bit differently if I had met the Legion by now. I could introduce myself to Curtis as a friend of the Legion and do all of the tasks myself, but since he will do it, and we'll still get to see the explosion either way, why would I bother? So, the Colonel suspects there's a mole leaking out sensitive information and Curtis is slick about it. He then tells us that we can start by inquiring either Lieutenant Boyd or Sergeant Contreras about it. Boyd's enough. And as she explains, since there's nothing to steal in the control tower that's been having some suspicious communications activity, she can just give us both the green light to investigate and the access code to it. By going there between 1 and 3 AM, we can overhear Captain Curtis communicating some info that the monorail's detonation will happen in about 10 minutes. I tried to talk with him to see if there was any speech option I could have used to persuade him that we've got the same idea, but there wasn't. So I had to reload. Simply overhearing the convo and leaving is fine. His plan is in motion and therefore, so is ours. And I didn't need to equip NCR attire because the guards outside the monorail door were not there. And simply by waiting a little bit, instead of, well, defusing the whole thing, it very much gets blown to smithereens. But hey, we can still throw a little salt on the wounds. I went back to the Colonel, reported only what happened to the monorail as he's wondering how he let this happen. And he still decides to reward me with plenty of experience points and caps, even though he doesn't have a single clue on who, why, or how this came to be. That was enough for another level up. I put the points into Unarmed and took the Terrifying Presence perk. And with plenty to do, I went back to Fiend territory to get the main quest going and to test out our new weapon. Not even Driver Nafai stood a chance. In Red Rock Canyon, I grabbed the turbo they had laying around, and then I fast traveled back to the 188, where I recruited my favorite keychain, cause having an explosive collar around my neck on this one would have to end in a massacre for the Brotherhood, and they're meaningless for this whole thing. Oh, but first I got the El Dorado map marker since it's right there. And on my way to Sloan, a couple powder gangers attacked me for no reason. And in the town I realized that Chomps, that's the kinda name I wouldn't let in my all-you-can-eat pizza place if I had one. What I did do was read an issue of Today's Physician, cause Snuffles, she's a cutie. Chomps thanked me, and a couple red scorpions later, Veronica was hungry.
I'd like a large atomic shake and a double Brahmin burger.
Ramos said hi. Veronica's still hungry, so I sent her away. Before she asked me out on a date, I knew I'd have to pay. I then fast traveled back to Camp Searchlight and made a really good effort in avoiding all the enemies until a ghoul trooper spotted me. Just the one. In Cottonwood Cove, I told the Legion Explorer that while Kaiser forces them to use skirts, he's been sending me jewelry. Lacal was then paddles for 4 hours, and we finally got to meet the man responsible for Operation Racket.
So, I finally get to meet the courier who's caused so much trouble for the new California Republic. The monorail that the profligates rode from McCarran to the Strip has been destroyed.
Kaiser then tells me of his lifelong dream of feeling the ground shake, and in the weather monitoring station I get both my gear and the platinum chip back. Mr. House sees that I arrive safely and with everything going according to his plan asks me to activate the Securitron army. And then like Kaiser, I too would like that very much, because that is step 1 of my 2.0 of racket. Neither the Protectrons or the turrets were an issue, especially because I'm wearing that reinforced combat armor by now, and the Mark II upgrade software was successfully installed. Level 9 comes around, I put an arm to 75 and dump the rest into medicine.
I felt the ground shake a while ago.
Kaiser's all giggly and happy and then tasks me with eliminating Mr. House, and I will. But first, let's have a chat with the man, because those are free experience points. And as soon as I get it, I immediately shush him, use the platinum chip to get into the control room and take him out of his sarcophagus.
Why?
Who's Scarface now? This should be working, oh, there we go. That was awkward. This was enough to trigger level 10, I put even more points into medicine and took the Fight the Power perk. And it's high time we get back to Yes Man.
Wow, you work fast.
Mr. TV on Wheels evolves into an LED monitor. I tell him I don't care about President Kimball, and our next goal is to install an override chip in the El Dorado substation. Once in there, I stubbed my toe and woke everyone that was asleep, but they were all inside, which means a guaranteed fast travel once you're out of there. Now, usually this means we're going to Hoover Dam, but I can't. Not just yet. After all, during Operation Racket, even the White Glove Society will ignore its allegiance with the Legion and ally themselves with the Chairman, the NCR, and Mr. House against us. And with Mr. House out of the picture already, you know exactly what I have to do. Knock knock. Who's there? I'll who? I'll give you an offer you can't refuse. More facts, more jokes. Public enemy number 1. We've all heard the expression before, but did you know that it originated in 1930 by the Chicago Crime Commission when they issued the first list of public enemies? Public enemy number 1 on that list was Al Capone. And after Chauncey, Mortimer, Marjorie, with a couple nobodies here and there, level 11 also came around. I kept on putting my points into medicine so my stimpaks can feel actually useful.
You, what do you think you're doing?
Trespassing.
Not for long.
Indeed. A fuck ton of cannibals later, and then I saw Heck Anderson. His son only spawns after the quest begins, and I never did the quest after annihilating the White Glove, so I wanted to give that a go. And even though the kitchen was empty a couple minutes ago, here's Philippe, thinking I'm a server. Thing now is, I can use some dialogue checks to get some hilarious dialogue. Hey Philippe, are you a douche because of childhood trauma?
What kind of harebrained fucking psychobabble bullshit is that? I yell at people because I like yelling at people, and because they fucking deserve it. Not because Mumsy and Daddykins didn't hug me enough.
You sure?
Oh, I see how it is. You think because my father walked out on us when I was 5, now I have to yell at people. Or because my mother was a deranged chem fiend who regularly brought strange men home who told me to call them uncle. Or because my sisters would lock me in a shipping crate when they didn't want me around. And my brother... God, I'd forgotten about that. How could they do that to me?
Say what you will, but it got the job done. And then so did I.
How could they treat me like that?
My daddy's gonna kill all you bastards once he finds out what you done to me.
I'm here to rescue you, ya douche.
Who did this to me anyway?
These dudes, they're cannibals, man.
As soon as I'm out of here, and my daddy knows the story, you can bet there ain't gonna be no White Hat Society no more.
What's this about the White Glove Society?
They were hungry.
They control the food? Well, there ain't gonna be no food. Not for anybody in this whole damn town.
That's doing the cannibals a favor.
You got a point.
Next up, the tops. By the way, there's some quote-unquote memes making the rounds about how Al Capone's the reason we got expiration dates on milk. So I looked that up, and it is true that he advocated for it, but it's unlikely. Being the reason, I mean. You see, what's going around is that he did it because one of his family members got sick or died with that. But seriously, think about it and forget milk cartons. Milk bottles. The prohibition was coming to an end, and who else was about to no longer have a monopoly on a whole bottling operation. He had the equipment, the incentive, and loved money. So yeah, what do you really think is more likely? Oh, and fun fact, in today's money, and at the height of his success, Al Capone would have around $1.5 billion. And all those were pre-taxes, cause remember, the only time he spent in jail was because of tax fraud. I mean, it is pretty funny that the major difference between the mob and the IRS methods is that one will only come to you if you fail your accountability on your deals, while the other will only do so when your accountant fails you. Oh, and apparently Mr. Nice Guy over here also ran a soup kitchen during the Great Depression. Free soup, coffee, and donuts for the unemployed, with a rumored over 2,000 people being served per day. That would have been so humanitarian of him if that wasn't an extremely brief endeavor that only came about after the media caught wind of who was to blame for the St. Valentine's Day massacre in 1929. A good deed, not the massacre, obviously. Probably just a PR stunt. Though, the latter applies to both, but in extremely different ways. Let's just say that mobsters don't get cold feet. They wear concrete shoes. And between all this, level 12 came around, points to medicine, and I took the second toughness perk. What I wasn't expecting was for my Securitrons to aggro on me. Fortunately, the wildcard ending is a failsafe. We can just send these to the scrapyard, and it won't affect anything at all. And then came level 13. You know what I did. I made sure the whole strip, including the Las Vegas Boulevard station, was vacated too. And with that, there's nothing to prevent Operation Racket from being a massive success. And so, can you... shit, Hoover Dam. Right. Can't just sit back and relax when Lanius and Oliver are planning a contest on who's the biggest douche. In the Lucky 38, Yes Man goes over the plan and tells me to install another chip, this time in the dam. I made sure to get the emergency radio frequency playing on the radio as I waited for news on the Omertas move on the strip. And things were pretty chill in the west section cause I just kept on jogging until I hit the offices. I used the speech check to convince the NCR heavy troopers to go check whether it was raining or not, and then I installed Yes Man. Gave two dudes a reality check and activated the Securitron Army.
What the fuck is happening on the strip? I'm getting reports that someone just bombed the embassy. The attack is coming from the Omertas. They're using some kind of gas to kill everyone in the casinos on the strip. How is this possible?
I swear, if I spared the gamblers only for them to not have taking them as clients. Ugh. Anyways, I let the Securitrons take care of things in the east side and I made my way to the Legate's camp. No Praetorian left behind, and here comes Lanius.
An envoy of Vegas, yet you carry yourself for battle. If so, you cannot truly be of that city of cowards.
I then took on a cocktail of bad decisions, thinking I would need it, but yeah. You said hello to my little friend in such a way that even I got second-hand embarrassment. The legionnaires around him were aplenty, but a lot easier to deal with, except for the one camper that I had to use a couple frag grenades on. Fortunately, Clandon has frag grenades in his inventory, cause otherwise I'd have to use the 44 Magnum, and upon given the choice, I like the way this went a lot better. And then comes General Lee Oliver. I tell the General that even though every dog has its day, he better have a damn good insurance. And then I scratched his face, with a level of psychopathy that only people that scratch their nails on chalkboards have. And so, can you beat Fallout New Vegas as the Omertas? Of course you can, so was it fun? Hell yeah! Like this video if you enjoyed it, dislike it if you didn't, and feel free to subscribe for more videos like this. And I'd like to give a big shout out to Steve Whittle and to John Walker for their support of the channel. And to you! So, thank you so much for watching, I hope you enjoyed, I hope I'll see you on the next one, and I hope you have a good one. Bye!
And I guess I'll see you around. We accomplished a lot together. It was fun. Take care.